Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Every Paw Print, Every Story. I am your host, Dan Popovic. And for you new listeners, what this podcast is about, quite simple. It's about our pets, dogs, cats. We bring in families just to share fun stories. You might listen in some of these episodes, you might laugh, you may cry on occasion. We do talk about pet loss. Um, Hopefully, you will feel inspired. I think today's episode should be a fun, interesting one, which will probably inspire you. But most importantly, to feel supported wherever you're at in your journey, with your pets. So, on that note, I am super excited today to welcome McKenzie from Rome, Georgia. How are you today, McKenzie?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. And then for the listeners, I just stumbled upon that Mackenzie and I aren't too far apart geographically.
Mhm.
Rome is up in the northeast, northwest. See, there we go. I'm
Northwest.
messing
Yeah.
up our northwest quadrant, not too far from Chattanooga, right?
Yeah, we're about halfway between Chattanooga and Atlanta.
Awesome, awesome. So jumping into that, naturally, the first question I love asking, how many pets do we have a part of the family today?
I have two dogs. I've only ever had two dogs. It's my first and second dog.
Okay.
I've got a 10-year-old Ridgeback and a 8.5-year-old Coonhound.
And the Ridgeback is named Hazel, right?
Hazel. Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's a fun other connection or fun fact for
hmm
the listeners. We've got a Ridgeback as well, Hazel. I know that's how you and I connected
Yeah.
on Substack. So that's fun. Now your Hazel though is probably a normal size, right?
Yeah, she's about 80 pounds. Well, in her heyday, she's about 80 pounds. She's about 85, 87 in her senior
Okay.
years. So, but she's still a good fit girl. She's a standard breed, regular Ridgeback, except she's ridgeless. She doesn't have a ridge.
Oh,
Yeah, so she's a
okay.
purebred Ridgeback with no ridge.
But with no ridge. Okay. And then
Mhm.
well, I guess maybe we should explain that ridge to the listeners on the show. What does that mean, the ridge?
A Rhodesian Ridgeback has a stripe of hair that grows backwards down their spine that comes from the African dogs that were part of their breeding pool, and most of them have it, but Hazel just doesn't.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny talking about that because our Hazel does have it,
Yeah.
and I had never heard of a Ridgeback before getting her. And it's so funny to pet her. And I kind of tell folks when I try to explain it, it's almost like a skunk, right? Not to make her out like a skunk, but it's just
Yeah.
that line behind on the back.
hmm
But to your point, it goes in a different direction.
Yeah.
Um, and I saw someone over in the window. Was that a cat or
Oh no, it's definitely not a cat. That's the Coonhound.
okay?
He is
No
not.
cats.
He's not cat friendly. So yeah.
So Hazel's 11. How did Hazel become a part of the family? What's the story?
We got Hazel from a breeder. So I've had her since she was a baby. I've always been a runner. And I was stopped by a naked man on the trail who asked me to help him find his pants. About the time my daughter got old enough to start asking for a dog, so I thought, let's just get a big dog that can run with me. And that's how we got Hazel.
And any story behind the name?
My daughter chose it. It's a character from whatever book series she was reading at that point in time. I think it's from a Percy Jackson series.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I think Hazel came with her name, but you
Mhm.
saw we call her Crazy Hazy.
That's a
Um,
great name.
she's the sweetest. She's a rescue, so we didn't get her from puppyhood. She came from a horrific background, so um, just beaten by men, and so we've been able to kind of break her out of her shell. Now she's a
Mhm.
miniature, so she's only about 50 pounds. Um, Go ahead.
No, they're after something. I was telling them to stop.
Oh, but so both Hazel and what is the coonhound's name again?
Emma.
Emma
Emma. Yeah.
chasing a squirrel or something.
There's no telling. We live in the city, so there's a lot of people and things and squirrels, and so they stay busy all day.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
so Hazel's 11, still pretty active, but kind of
Yeah.
getting up there in seniority.
Yeah. Well, she'll be 10 in August, and
Oh,
she still
10.
runs with me regularly. She doesn't do harness sports anymore because those are a little more just a little more intense than she's interested in. She can physically. She's just mentally retired. She
So
does what she likes.
what does that mean? What is it you said? Harness boards?
The harness sports, like the bike tour and the canicross and the racing that we do,
Okay.
she's still physically able. She just doesn't prefer that. She likes to do what she wants to do.
Okay.
And she's
So
old enough to do that now. So
gotcha. Let's hold that thought because I definitely want to come back to that. That's an exciting thing to kind of talk about too. Um, Emma is the coonhound. How old is Emma?
mhm. She is about 8.5. We got her from the Humane Society, and they were fairly confident about how old she was. So around 8.5.
Come with the name, or did you get to name her?
She had the name. It was one of the few things that she was clear on. So we didn't dare change her name. She'd never lived inside before. She'd not been around people very much before, but she did know her name, so we just kept it.
Okay. So she live inside now?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they live in the house. We have a dog door, so they come and go as they please. But
Okay. Hazel and Emma get along pretty good,
yeah, yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
how long did you have? Did you get Hazel and Emma kind of about the same time, or not
No,
really?
Hazel was about maybe 2 when we brought Emma home.
Okay.
2, maybe 3. Long enough that because I don't know how your Ridgeback was, but mine was a journey to get from wild animal to livable with. So we gave her time to mature and figure out how to work with her before we dared add any other dogs to the mix.
Interesting. What does that mean? Yeah, so I guess talk about that a little bit. The journey?
Oh, as a puppy, she was a horrible puppy. Ridgebacks are super mouthy, super bitey. She had learned bite inhibition from her Ridgeback family, but it's still like Ridgeback inhibition is not the same as human. Like it was like she was rough. They're bred to hunt independently, so they don't have any cares for what you think or how you think it should be done. And it took me a long time to figure out how to work with her because they're not the kind of dogs that you can just tell them to do things and they do it. You've got to convince them that they want to do it. Like you have to really figure out how to be a partner with them, and convince them that we want the same thing for them to even think about doing that. Um, so she was, and super high energy. So add all the chaos on top of a super high energy dog. Um, she was a challenge.
Interesting. So yeah, share some insights. Obviously, you got me really peaked. Like what were some of the tactics you did to kind of conquer those challenge, if I can use that word?
I Hazel was my first dog, and everyone will tell you that a Ridgeback should not be your first dog, and they are completely right. I
Interesting.
don't know that I did anything except outlast it. And she finally grew up and matured. And as she matured, a year in, we had a lot of the same common interests. I wanted to run, she wanted to run, and we figured out we could do that together because we wanted to do that together. Um,
Okay.
she's super food motivated. So if you can get the right food that she wants, if you have the right snack on you, you can get almost anything that you want from her. Um, but it took I think mostly the only thing I did was outlast her in the beginning. Someone with better skills would probably have better insight into how you train a Ridgeback puppy.
Well, and so curious, what made you get a Ridgeback? Is that what you wanted? Were you doing some research, or what led you?
So I wanted a large dog to run with.
Yep.
Um, and I have always thought that dogs stink. But if you Google dogs that don't stink, Ridgebacks, and this was a debate I had with my daughter. I told her for years we can't get a dog because they stink, and she's like, just Google it. And if you Google it, it says that Ridgebacks don't stink. And then a link to the farm with the breeder popped up. I'd run into the man on the trail. We were just starting to think about it. I Googled dogs that don't stink, thinking that would be the end of that. And then it popped up, and then a link to a breeder about 10 miles from us popped up also. And breeders are not super common, for Ridgebacks here. So I don't know. It just seemed like all the signs pointed to that being a great idea. So I did it. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
great idea, but that's what I got.
Yeah, well, 10 years later,
Yeah,
um,
she's a great dog.
that's interesting. You say, because now you're right. It's like, yeah, I never really have much of a. She doesn't really have much of a smell or scent on her.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. But now the coon dog, though, what about that one?
yeah, that was yeah. She definitely stinks. We do a lot of washing and bathing.
Love it. And then, so what made you? So you got Hazel, and then how did Coon? How did Emma? I think you mentioned how did, yeah? What made you go in that direction?
Um, we always, not always, but when we got Hazel, I was aware that dogs are happier with friends, like they're social creatures like we are. So I never intend, and I'm a teacher, so I'm work 190 days, which is less than a lot of people. But I never intended to just leave her here alone all the time, because I have to be gone
Right.
during the day. So she can't come to work with me. She wouldn't enjoy going to work with me, even if that was an option. We wanted a dog, something to keep her company. She's not cat friend. I'm cat allergic, but there were no other options, animal wise. She has a super high prey drive, so anything smaller is not going to be safe in the household with her. Um, but I had been running with her. I was trying to convince my daughter to start running. And the way we run, the size of the dog matters. So we got a smaller dog, thinking that it would be a friend for Hazel during the day, and it would be a smaller dog that my daughter could run with. Because Emma's very small for a coon. She's half coonhound, half pointer. She's about
Okay.
45 pounds.
Okay.
She's fairly small for either one of those breeds.
Okay.
Um,
So, sorry, I might felt like I cut you off.
you're good.
Um, and then, so you said Hazel, the breeder was here in Atlanta or the Georgia area?
She was up a little bit north of us.
Okay. In Tennessee
Mhm.
or still in Georgia, North
She was
Georgia.
she's still in Floyd County where we are.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And all right. So, yeah, this will be fun. You've mentioned running a few times.
Mhm.
So, so you were always running slash hiking before getting them.
Mhm.
Um, Hence, I guess the mention of running into naked men on the trail.
Yeah.
That would scare me too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
That's why I was saying earlier on this podcast. Hopefully, some of these episodes will make you laugh, right, or cry for that matter. Or you could probably do both on that one. Um, so do you run pretty regularly every day?
Um, no. I enjoy running. I'm not a great runner or a skilled runner or a super fit runner. It's just something that makes me feel good that I like to include in my week. But I also bike and I belong to a gym. And with only so much time in the day, I definitely don't run every day. Um, and the girls, the dogs, they don't need to run every day either. When Hazel was young, we went almost every day.
Okay.
When Hazel was young, we went twice a day.
Oh wow.
Um, uh, yeah. Um, but they don't and especially in the summer, the Emma can run every day. She would love that. Once it gets hot, it's not as much fun for her, although she's still eager to go every single time. But I don't, just in deference to their age, I don't run them every
Yep.
day in the heat. In the
Yeah.
winter is we'll in the winter we may be out every day, just depending, but in the summer I don't work them as much.
What about water? How do they do with water? Have they not had a chance to like experience water, beaches or lakes or anything like
Yeah,
that?
no, they are both great swimmers. We kayak a lot, so I made sure both of them could swim before I put them in the boat, um, to make sure that we wouldn't drown each other. Because Hazel's definitely big enough to overbalance and tip the boat, and
Right.
Emma bounces around all the time. Emma's the only one that's ever actually tipped the boat, from bouncing around. But I made sure both of them could swim. We did a an intro dock diving class actually with both of them because it's hard. I don't know about other places, but here dogs aren't allowed on the beaches. They're not allowed in pools. And the rivers here are deep and the current strong. So it didn't seem like a good place to test it.
Right.
So I did an intro dock diving class with both of them, but they both swam like fishes right off the bat. Neither one of them jump into the water, but they are excellent swimmers.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because I was gonna say dock diving, so I'm assuming that's where they're just jumping in, but I guess in your point, they're not really jumping in.
Yeah, no, for our purposes. And people do is it's another dog sport people compete with, and they jump off the dock to see how far. And neither of mine care to do that, but they'll get in and swim around.
Um, okay, cool. And then for the listeners of this show, if you don't happen to catch the video, so wanted to give a shout out to the shirt that you have on. So okay, I know I'm gonna screw up the name again. Capita, see what you should what tell us the name of the shirt.
The group we run with is Capitolina Racing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a Dryland Challenge, right?
We host a race every year in Rome. Well, I say every year, it's fairly new. This will be our third year.
Okay.
We host a race here in Rome, and it's a dry land race is a full sled dog style race because we don't just run together. The dogs are trained sled dogs,
Oh, cool.
and dry land mushing is just all of the sled dog events without snow. So we use runners on feet and bicycles and three-wheeled rigs.
Oh wow, I'm just trying to think of what question to ask you next because my head's spinning. Because I had never heard of this, so this is what I was excited about connecting with you on. Because I mentioned to you, I used to race a lot and I did events, but this is fascinating and completely something different.
Yeah.
Um, and well, when I looked at your website, we'll definitely make sure to share a link to your website to the listeners. It looked like you guys had several events per year throughout the year, no?
So I have just a social group that meets regularly. Like right now, we're meeting every Sunday morning. And it's hot, so all we're doing is running, um, or walking. A lot of people will just walk as well, because the biking is a lot more intense. The dogs have to
Right.
work a lot harder. So we don't even pull bicycles out until it cools off a lot more. But we just meet for social meetups, weekly. Sometimes during the year, it's less often. But those are open to anyone that wants to come try it. We've got our sponsors have given us a race kit with all the pulling harnesses that the humans and the dogs wear, so people can come out and just try it and see what they think. Um, and those events are just for fun. We meet up, everyone does whatever workout they want to do. A lot of people walk, a lot of people run. We usually go get coffee afterwards, and that's
Interesting. Interesting. So like you said, so it's running or walking. You've got the gear. So
mhm,
um, yeah, because I guess where my head is going is like you said, the snow with the sled, and then
mhm.
I'm gonna butcher everything up because I don't know the harnesses. I'm I'm sure there's right proper names for everything. So that's kind of what you're talking about the gear. So if I wanted to come out and do this and I just walked, Hazel would be geared up. Yeah, if I'm walking, where does the sled come in?
So there's no sled because we don't have snow. So if you're walking, the dog wears a pulling harness, but but actually it depends on the dog. A lot of dogs still pull like a train if you're walking, and you have to use your body.
Right.
That's the exercises you're using your body to resist that pull. So the dog wears a sled dog harness. The human, if you're walking or running, wears a belt that wraps around your hips and your pelvis, and you're connected by a line.
Okay.
So there's no sled. Your body is the sled.
Okay. Thank you.
And then the dogs are trained with verbal cues, so all of my dogs know left and right, easy, speed up, start, stop. Over, they know if I say left over, they know which direction to move over. So the human who's either walking or running steers the dog with those verbal cues, and then the dog pulls.
Okay. Yeah. My one of mine would not have a problem with that because boy, she pulls like something else.
Yeah, a lot of dogs
Uh,
love it.
so walking in. So then when I'm on a bike though, what's the difference with being on a bike?
So with a bicycle, the only difference, the dog's gear is completely the same. They wear the sled dog harness. It's a very similar line, although it'd be a little longer. And then on a bicycle, there's an antenna that you hook to your stem that holds the line out of the wheel. And the dog is hooked directly to the frame of your bicycle. And then it's the same same setup. They excuse me. You give them verbal cues, and they follow those cues to pull the bicycles.
That's fascinating. What made you, because this is yours, right? You launched this.
I, Capitolina is mine, but I was mentored by other dryland mushers in the Atlanta area. There's a large active group in the Atlanta area.
Okay, well,
Shockingly enough, yeah,
no, I was gonna say I'm living underneath a rock, I guess. That's
yeah,
amazing. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check
yeah.
this out. So, but
I started
typically,
with I was going to say I started the group that mentored me. I started with Georgia Urban Mushing, and most
okay.
of the people who were active in that group have since moved north, mostly to race dogs in the snow. Um, but they taught me a lot, and there's still a really big active group, especially of runners and bikers through the Atlanta area.
Um, Interesting. So, but then naturally, you're trying to find the right, the common locations with doing this is I'm gonna guess typically your nature trails, right?
Yeah, it's always on trail. Some people will run their dogs on pavement. If your dog's really intense and really working hard, it can tear up their paws because they're digging and pulling, and it can really be hard on their paws. Plus, it's more fun in nature, and it's usually less traffic.
Right, right,
And that's every beginner wants to start somewhere with less traffic because you do have to build a lot of trust with your dog that they will actually turn left when you say, and they will actually stop when they say
right.
because they're leading.
Yeah, you don't want to do that on the Atlanta Beltline.
No,
A little too congested.
yeah.
Um, did you? Yeah, I'm fascinated by this. This is interesting. Did you know of this before you got Hazel, or did you kind of look into it after you got her?
No, I learned about it afterwards. She learned to run and heel with me. We ran for years with her just running next to me. But we live, but I always ran on trails. I've always been a trail runner. And the particular trail that is our easiest trail to get to that I run at most of the time runs through a giant deer field with giant deer herds. And Hazel, her dearest dream in life is to run down deer. Like that's all she wants to do when we get there. And she just broke everything. I brought high quality lines and harnesses and leashes. She would lunge and break everything.
Wow.
Um, so in a Google search for indestructible dog gear, it suggested sled dog harnesses. And the group that I started with, Georgia Urban Mushing, their link popped up right underneath it, and they were super nice. Said, "Come out, you can try the gear." They introduced me to sled dog harnesses, and that was that.
Fell in love, and here we go today. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Um, but breaking leashes, wow, she's clearly very strong then.
yeah, yeah,
Man, okay, all right. Well, you're making me feel better because I haven't had those issues happen.
yeah.
Now I'm curious, does Hazel, it's a fascinating breed too, because our little Hazel has a tendency to get behind me and herd me along, and she kind of nudges me with her nose. Does your Hazel do that too?
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
No, and I think probably most Ridgebacks, what's your dog mixed with?
She's pure.
Oh, I thought you said told me she was a mix.
No, no, she's a miniature Ridgeback,
Oh, okay. She's just
which
tiny.
she's just tiny,
Okay. Yeah.
just a tiny goofball that she's afraid of people though, just because of her background.
Hmm.
But I get what you're talking about because when we do take her out on a trail, it takes a minute, but when she finally gets focused, yes, she's pulling and she's going.
Hmm.
But then the minute she comes up to a pack of people or an open field, she kind of locks up. She's like, "Oh, I don't want any of this. I need to." She starts to freak out a little bit, just because she just has such a rough. She
Yeah.
just has such a rough background or upbringing. Um, and
My Hazel's
then
almost the opposite, which is one of the reasons we got another dog also because I run in Atlanta with friends a lot, and Hazel doesn't do great in high traffic areas. She 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 likes to intimidate other people on the trail. So we've worked a lot on dialing that down and managing those responses. But in a crowded trail, she's much more concerned about um, being intimidating than running.
that's fun. So just kind of puffing up that chest and get out of my
Yeah.
way kind of thing. Ah, I love
Hmm.
it. That's funny. Oh, yeah, Hazel doesn't do that, but for a little 50-pound dog, she's got a big bark. I can imagine your Hazel has a big bark.
Yeah, yeah, she's a big girl.
And then but you've also got, do you have like an official racing series or just one race a year kind of thing?
So we have right now, we've got the race in Rome that's a full dryland race, which means we have runners, bikers, and rigs. And the rigs, people will run like 6 dog sled teams on them. So
Oh
we do
wow.
the full experience, and that's in January. And this year, I'm looking to add because in the South, especially rigs and big kennel teams, that's not really a thing that Southern racers are doing. So we have people who come down from way up north that do it. But for the Southern area, I'm really interested in more bike races and canocross races. So I'm looking to add a single track race this season in
Okay.
the winter. So that'll put us at 2. And there are other races in the area, but those are the 2 that we host, or one that we host, and the second I'm still working on.
Okay, very cool. You said rigs a minute ago, so you lost me on that. What does that mean?
That a rig is, instead of a bicycle, it's a 3 or 4 wheeled cart. And people in our race course, because the turns are tight, it's a fairly technical trail. We only have teams up to 6 dogs, but in the dryland world, people will hook 8 to 10 dogs up to the rigs to race. So
Okay.
it's like a full sled dog size team
Wow.
hooked
Okay.
up like Iditarod style, like 2 by 2 down the
Okay.
game line.
Fascinating. Yeah, I just show my ignorance. I don't, yeah, this is fascinating. Don't know much about it. That's and how long? So you've been doing this for what did you say, like 8 years?
Yeah, we've been just socially and for fun. We've been participating for 8 years. Yeah,
And
we
then
started when Hazel was about 2.
okay, very cool. And then the event, so it's timed and all that, right? Is it timed? Are there
Hmm.
rewards that go out to finishers
Hmm.
too? Yeah.
Yeah, they race for cash, so
Oh,
cash prizes.
okay. So then
Yeah.
we've got some official sponsors back and all that for okay, very
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, so does this happen across the US or
Yeah. So the dryland races are sanctioned by the International Sled Dog Racing Association. If people wanted to look that up, there's a whole calendar series. Most of them, there are 2 in Georgia. There's our race, and then another race close to Ackworth. Um, and then everything else is in Ohio or further north. So those are the only 2 races here, which is
okay.
why we started the event, because everyone in our community wanted to race. To compete, you have to complete 3 races, but there were no races south of Ohio. So
Okay, I guess well, it gets hot up there too, actually. I was gonna say that the heat, I could see it why in the heat, but it gets hot up there in the summertime. Um,
well, and this is a winter sport, so we play at it all summer, but the competitive racing all happens in the winter,
okay, gotcha. Then if it's happening in Ohio in the winter, you got snow on the ground.
which they will cancel a dryland race for snow. So so
Uh,
they've really struggled. Like in the South, like we do the dryland race, and I'm looking to add bike and canocross races because that's what people here do. They trail run and they mountain bike. But up north, they're working this real tight window with when is it dry and when is it snow, because they'll switch to sleds when it's snow, but but the weather has to hit just right, and global climate change has to hit just right for their season. There was been a lot of races canceled the past few years because of
gotcha.
weather.
Okay, interesting. And then with you, so you race with Hazel and Emma together?
Just Emma.
Just Emma. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Just yeah. Okay. You used to with Hazel and Emma,
yeah,
but now just Emma. So Hazel's more of a spectator.
yeah. Hazel. Yeah, we still run. We'll still do a 5K together,
Yeah,
just for fun. But um, to travel and compete, Emma has the intensity to make it worth that.
gotcha. Well, like you said, there's plenty of 5Ks in and around
Mhm.
the this area. You got one every weekend. 4th of July is coming up. There's plenty I'm sure you've got one in Rome this 4th of July weekend, right?
Probably so. I don't like to run in the heat either, though, so I haven't looked.
That's right. It is going to be hot. This is very cool. So, and then it's what's the common, is there like a common breed that's usually in these races that you see, or is it just all over the board?
So it depends on how you're coming at it. The dryland mushing community, a lot of those people are coming from the sled dog world. So they are racing traditional sled dogs. So either huskies or Eurohounds, which is like the houndy race sled dog that people race.
Gotcha.
So you see a lot of people like that's in the big dryland races. That's what you'll see. In the South, what's growing is canicross, which is just running with your dog. I say the South. I think probably everywhere because that's the one that climate change has not hit. You can do it in whatever weather, whatever kind of trail. And people who canicross, you will see. We've raced with dachshunds. We've raced with Great Danes. So any pet. That's the funnest thing about canicross is that you can be super serious and super competitive, but any person with their pet dog can walk out the door. They can teach them left and right, and you're good to go.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, hopefully we can spread that word out there and this can get some more up there for you. I'm trying to think where else to go. What in with Emma and Hazel, I guess what are some of the fun questions I always ask folks as well is like what are some of the funny quirks that or the funny personalities of those two?
Oh, geez. Um, they're both they're both kind of funny. They're very serious girls. Um, Hazel looks very serious and very intense all of the time. But she loves to play more than any other dog I've ever met. Like she looks like she means business all the time, but all she wants is for you to scratch her butt and give her a toy.
That's
She loves to play. She's she's like her demeanor is very serious, but her insides are happy-go-lucky. And Emma's
okay.
the opposite. Emma looks like a giant friendly dork, and she really isn't. She's very serious and intense on the inside all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And do they have like a routine of they get up at the same time every morning? No.
No, that is my favorite thing about the dog door is
Okay.
they come and go as they please. Um, and I've been a single mom for years with a full-time job and human kids, and routine has never been my strong suit. So I really needed dogs that could be
Kind of
comfortable with like they know when we put a harness on we're running. They know when we're home they can do these things. Like they know what's going to happen in the place that they're in, but they're comfortable with however it lays out, which I needed for my life because routine's not my strong suit.
gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. And then I now you had me thinking on the dog door. Do they ever bring you anything strange in?
Um, Emma has brought a squirrel in before.
Oh,
It was during COVID while my daughter was online in class. Emma brought her a squirrel. I was not home because I was at work, and my daughter called me and said she had to evacuate the house because Emma had brought a squirrel in. But usually, Hazel's not a killer. She chases things. Emma will kill anything she can catch, but she usually keeps it outside to play with it. And I should cross my fingers so that,
hopefully I didn't jinx you.
yeah, I hate to say anything is what Emma does because she's unpredictable.
But well, at least that's good though. It's been one time at a squirrel, so
Yeah, yeah,
very. And then what about like in the evenings? Do they both kind of crash at the same time, or not
yeah.
really? Yeah.
They're sundown girls. Sundown, everyone's done and relaxed for the day. So summers are long days, winters are short days, but they're up at sunrise and down at sundown
Okay.
pretty much any day.
So kind of they're ready to attack the morning. They got that energy,
Hmm.
and then sundown at the end of the day, they're like, all right, the sense of satisfaction. Let's call it a day and crash.
Yep.
Do they I'll jump in bed and snuggle up with you, or do you not allow that?
Hazel usually, if it's hot, Hazel sometimes will sleep in the bed with me. As soon as it turns cold, every night she's in bed. But Emma's nervous. she was feral. She was stray. Had never lived inside and raised herself in the countryside out around Blue Ridge. That's how we know about how old she is because the farmers there watched her grow up before they called
Okay.
animal control on her. Um, but she's just a little more nervous. Sometimes she likes to sleep in a different room. She can't relax next to you. So she has her
Interesting.
own bed in my room at the foot of the bed, and I'll hear her. She sleeps there sometimes. She sleeps in different rooms sometimes. So
Okay.
we just let her bed down wherever she finds that she's comfortable.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And then I know we're getting close to times. And time flies when you're having fun just talking about, the dogs, cats, whatever. But this has been really fascinating, and I'm definitely gonna check out check out the mushing. I said that right?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one question I always love to ask too. I mean, I always have a few questions I love asking, but having them in your lives, how do you think? And this is really for the listeners too, but how have they helped you? Have they helped you in any ways, like physically, mentally? How have they helped you?
They've been a huge part of my life. In ways that I never even expected. When I ran into the naked man on the trail, I was running alone because I did everything alone. I didn't have any adult friends at that point in my life. No one was interested in doing those kinds of things. So I was just doing things by myself. And then I had Hazel, so she joined me. And then when we found Georgia Urban Mushing, um, it became a whole community. Like the people that are left from Georgia Urban Mushing, we still see them regularly. We travel together. We meet to run together. We meet to bike together. Like I consider them. That's my community now. So I feel like I have a group that that I belong to. It gives me a feeling of belonging with that group. It's one of the reasons I started the race. I'm not competitive. I've never traveled to race, but I'm decent at organizing things, and my community needed that race. It's like I can't race much, but I can do that.
Right.
So that's a way to give back to that community that's helped us belong for so many years.
That's awesome. No, I love that. And then do you like if you go out to eat, I think Rome is a fairly pet friendly city, is it not?
Yeah, the whole downtown has a nice row of restaurants and patios.
You take them with you or not so much because Hazel wants to stare somebody down.
Oh, Hazel loves to stare people down. So Hazel is great, given certain conditions. She will always work for food, and I know which patios are have the least traffic by them. And if she's gone for a run, she's happy to lay down and be good for bites of whatever we're eating. So she's the kind of dog you have to manage. We couldn't just wake up and run out to a restaurant with her. She has to be exercised and she has to be in a good place. But I know what works for her. Emma can go anywhere. So she does what she does anywhere
Very
she's
cool.
at. She's just
Yeah,
a happy girl.
very cool. Well, no, I appreciate you coming on today and sharing, little of the story and learning more about, the racing and that community. That's fascinating. So, um, gosh, for the listeners of this episode, I will make sure we get your contact information, your website, so they can go learn about this and you know, the various meetups, anything, I guess before we end it, I mean, anything on that line you want to share, anything like that?
I first thank you for having us. I love talking about dogs. It's always fun to sit and talk about them. And I hope anyone that's listening that's interested, like it's a great and welcoming community. A lot of people that join us are nervous about coming out because they'll tell me their dog's not trained or their dog's not good, and none of that is necessary to come out and gain across. It's a great sport for reactive dogs. It's a great sport to learn. Like there's no barrier to entry. You don't have to have a good dog. You don't have to be fit. We've got all the gear. Just come out. And I don't know where your listenership is, but there are North American Canicross has ambassadors that host these free social meetups all around the country.
Oh,
So
good.
it's might be something in their backyard still, even if they're not close to us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, they're all over. We've got a lot of, in Ireland and the UK as well, and I'm sure they've got
Yeah.
versions of something over there as well. But yeah, well, I'll definitely make sure, to your point, we share with the listeners, go look at the episode description. I'll share some links in there so you can find out about McKenzie, and then Yeah, McKenzie, definitely any other links you want to send me that can help them find a
Okay.
group wherever they might live, we'll definitely get that added as well. But don't go anywhere just yet. But yeah, I just thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.